So, at this point, I just want to thank again all the speakers and attendees. And I also need to remind that all the questions will be collected, addressed, and published in the Parma Summer School 2021 website. There were many more questions for this last part of the session, but they will be addressed and you will see the answers on the website. Now it's just time to pass over to Davide Menozzi for the concluding remarks and closure of the Parma Summer School 2021. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much, Cecilia. Yeah, I think we are almost at the end of this edition of the Parma Summer School. I say almost because this afternoon we will have a very short appendix with a thematic session with a limited number of participants. So anyway, it's time, from my point of view, to make some balance on that. So we came out with an online and virtual event. And of course, this is a limitation from several points of view, but also an opportunity because actually we had a huge number of applications. We came out with 1,300 of applications from really more than 80 countries worldwide. And of course, most of these countries were European ones, but nevertheless, we had more than 20% of the application from Africa, Asian countries, but also South American, North American countries. Most of these applications came from young researchers, 80% less than 40 years, mostly from academia and public institutions. Public research institutions, but still 20% of the application came from the private sector and 10% from European institutions and authorities. We came out with 300 participants selected in order to have a wide heterogeneity among the countries, the organizations, and of course also gender balance. And 72 of them also participated in the afternoon sessions. I must stress that all the materials, and including registrations, presentations, and as Cecilia said, also the Q&A, all the Q&As, but not only those who have replied this morning, also the one in the back office. And I would ask to the speakers kindly to reply to those answers still. All of them will be published on the website, not only for the participant, but also for all the people that have been registered and applied for the summer school were not accepted basically for technical reasons. So this is in order to have the largest impact as much as possible of the topics that we have touched in the summer school that I think they were very, very interesting. Starting from the food safety and food safety assessment in particular aspects, but touching other aspects around. So I think that all the speakers made an excellent job, an enthusiastic job. And I thank very much all of them for their also professional participation in the summer school. They were not only from the organizing institutions, but also from other external bodies. So they made this great effort in order to provide you with the most interesting and recent, let's say, advancement about these topics. Just to remind, we have touched, let's say, 3 different cases. We have considered the biodiversity and environmental safety one, the chemical mixture one yesterday, and today the novel food and technologies. From the first day, we learned how the, let's say, the assessment, this environmental risk assessment must be more and more integrated with a holistic approach, also including acceptability of the risk and uncertainty. And so these were among the key messages from this first case study. We learned from the second one how harmonized method for assessing the effects of chemical mixtures, different chemicals, compounds coming from different sources are needed, and how also external factors, such as, for instance, climate change, but also intensification of the production among the supply chain might increase the risks about these different compounds. And today, I think very interestingly, we have seen the emerging trends in novel food and novel technologies. We have heard about the most recent advancement at the European level mostly, but also at a wider international level. Very interestingly, I think we saw how some of these technologies in food products are strictly connected with the circular economy concept and sustainability in general concepts. But still, we saw how consumers and society acceptance of such food and technologies are key elements for having really an impact on the market. And so factors like neophobia, disgust, naturalness perception, of course, play a role in this domain. So basically, the objective, the scope of this year's summer school was to enlarge as much as possible the discussion beyond the limits of the risk assessment procedures in order to consider borderline elements that must be, I think, in my opinion at least, must be considered more and more also in this frame. And so, as I said, also the first day, multidisciplinarity, multi-stakeholder approach are really needed in order to, let's say, gather more information, gather more data around. And so my message also for the students now is all of us mostly must raise our heads from the analytical instruments in order to embrace as much as possible a larger view of the food systems. And so this means that we must consider a different kind of stakeholders, different kind of actors. We must, let's say, force ourselves to talk different languages as well. I mean, scientific languages, in order to talk with social scientists and chemists, technologists, but also different kind of expertise. And this means also that we must more and more, let's say, deal with the big data, handling and modeling. We saw during all the 3 days, that data handling and data modeling is a really key element also, and is becoming more and more important and crucial for the next generation researchers. Finally, I give you. I want to thank, of course, all the collaborators, the moderators, and the co-moderators who, both in the morning and afternoon sessions, who managed and stimulated the discussions. Everything was very smoothly, and this is mostly their merit, of course. And also I want to thank all the colleagues from the University of Parma, from the Catholic University of Sacred Heart of Piacenza, from the EFSA as well, from their fruitful and kind collaboration. So I thank Giovanni Sogari, Cecilia Mancini, Chiara Dall'Asta, and Daniele Del Rio from the University of Parma, Paola Battilani and Piersarno Conconcelli from the University of Piacenza, and all the EFSA staff, in particular for their support, organizational and scientific support, in particular Stylianos Koulouris, chair of the organizing committee, Plamen Panayotov, Angeline Camus, and of course Lorena Pasquali, our guardian angel, for recalling us all the deadlines. And they all really made it possible to organize this year summer school in terms of scientific quality, content, but also, more importantly, also logistics and organization. Finally, the really last words are for you, the participants. I thank you, of course, for your participation and attendance. I hope you enjoyed this summer school. I did a lot, so I guess also you did. And of course, you will be asked to fill in a satisfaction questionnaire for getting also the certificate of attendance. And I really hope that this summer school inspired you somehow, bringing new ideas for the present and your future work and research. So, of course, I hope that the next edition will be in person. And so most of you probably will have the chance also to get in Parma and enjoy the networking, of course, meeting the other participants, the experts, something that we missed somehow this year, but also to enjoy the food and the city and what the city has to offer you, of course, in the next edition. So until then, I wish you all good luck and, of course, good health to all of you. Thank you and goodbye. Arrivederci.